Okay, friends. So, originally when we started, when the sea turned silver, we actually started putting it on our Instagram. And then we got the great idea to make a YouTube channel because more people have access to YouTube. Not everybody has an Instagram account. So we put chapters 1 through 6 on Instagram, and didn't upload them YouTube because we didn't have the channel yet. So I'm actually just going to reread chapters 1 through 6 and then put them into the YouTube channel, which if you're watching this, you're here. Hi, welcome, thanks. And that way, if you have not been keeping up or you don't have an Instagram, you can listen to us read all the chapters because we should be able to finish this book by the end of the school year. Okay, so this is chapter 1, When the Sea Turned Silver. And remember, if you're new here, this is the same world as Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, different characters, different timeline. So I've read this book before. Based on what I've read, I think it's before like Minley's time, but we'll find out. When the sea turned silver and the cold chilled the light of the sun, Pinmi knew the black tortoise of winter had arrived with his usual calmness. But when a shrieking wind pierced the sky, bursting into the darkness, she grew frightened. It was as if the black tortoise of winter were being forced to the earth, screaming and struggling. Even the snow, usually so gentle, flew at Pinmi's mountain hut like sharp needles before falling onto the village below. The village was filled with houses crowded together, and when the villagers climbed up the mountain, their hearty laughs and stomping boots shattered the quiet. At the sound of their footsteps, Pinmi would scurry away to be out of sight, her long braid trailing her like the tail of a disappearing mouse. The villagers used to climb up the mountain, hunt regularly, requesting that Amma embroidered peonies or 5-colored clouds onto silk for weddings and birthdays. Even in the winter, when the rough stone hut was all but buried, the villagers still came. However, while they came for Amma's embroidery skills, they stayed for the old woman's stories. Even Pinmi, watching from behind a door, was unable to resist her grandmother's words. And when the immortal dragon picked up the beautiful white stone, it began to shine in his hands. Amma would say, telling the story of the dragon pearl. We know that story from Minley's journey. And because only a mountain can hold up the moon, no one could lift the ball. When telling the story of the boy who rolled the moon, and Pinmi would find herself standing among the villagers as if pulled by a thread. By a thread? Look at all these connections. This is crazy. But now, few villagers came up the mountain, and it was not just the winter keeping them away. The ones who did come told stories of their own. A new emperor wears the gold silk robe. They whispered as if afraid. Even up on the mountain, they would be overheard. All celebrated when the old emperor was overthrown. But now we tremble, for the new emperor is brutal and fierce. They call him the Tiger Emperor. Okay. Here's a picture of Pinmi's, the mountain village area where she lives. Okay, Tiger Emperor. So maybe this is related to the magistrate tiger. We'll find out. But a new emperor is supposed to pay tribute to the mountain, Amma said. He must get the blessings of the mountain spirit at the top. We have not seen anyone. Do we ever see any rulers? Yishan said in a scoffing tone. Only a young boy such as himself could have. Even though he had his own hut farther up the mountain, Yishan claimed the seat by the fireplace in Pinmi's hut as his own. They all say they go to the top, but do they? He came, one villager said, and he started up the mountain. But the wind or the winter, or who knows, maybe even the mountain spirit forced him down. To our great misfortune, he was humiliated, and now all of the mountain villagers are being punished. But reaching the top of the mountain has nothing to do with the villagers, Amma said. It is the spirit of the mountain who decides if a ruler is worthy. That does not matter to the Tiger Emperor, the villagers said, the bitterness cracking the hushed tones of his voice. His soldiers come to the village late at night, taking away all the men. Who do we know when they will, we do not know when they will come to ours, but we know they will. All the men, Amma gasped. What for? For the vast wall, another villager said. The men are being forced to build a wall that surrounds the entire kingdom. The entire kingdom was hundreds of cities and thousands of villages. Amma often told stories about a city with a wall around it. And Pinmi scarcely imagined that. That might have a link to a city in Where the Mountain Meets the Moon that has a wall around it. You can't build a wall that long. It's impossible, Yishan said. The firelight made his hat glow as if it were aflame. The villagers shrugged. This emperor has a habit of making the impossible happen. But even if it could be finished, it would be poor protection, Amma said. How could a wall spanning the kingdom be defended? There would never be enough soldiers to guard something so vast. What does the Tiger Emperor want? He wants the luminous stone, said a third villager. Speaking for the first time, when anyone, a wife, a child, a mother, begs for a man's freedom, the soldiers always say the same. Bring the emperor a luminous stone that lights the night, and you can have your wish. A luminous stone that lights the night? Amma repeated slowly. She hesitated, and Pinmi thought she saw a flash over Amma's face. But Amma shook her head. I've never heard of such a thing. Disappointment flickered on the faces of the villagers. The first villager reached out his hand to Amma for his completed job, a cloth embroidered with the dark blue colors of a burial robe. No one has, the villager said, but now we all wish for one. The villagers left in silence, but their words remained loud in Pinmi's ears. A luminous stone, a vast wall, Tiger Emperor. Another gust of icy air burst through the open door, shivering Pinmi, crept deeper into the shadows of the fireplace, hoping to hide. All right, so Pinmi sounds like she's our main character. Amma is her grandmother. She embroiders. So if you don't know what embroidery is, it's where you have like a needle and thread and you embroider like a picture onto a cloth with thread. And she has great stories that everybody wants to listen to. And they're talking about the Tiger Emperor, who is not very nice. And it's said that his soldiers come and take the men because he wants men to build a vast wall around his kingdom. And so they're just worried. All right, we'll listen to the other chapters.